to support the platform just in case anything like this happens again, you can do it by way of PayPal, Patreon, Cash App, and also by the Anchor. And you can also further support the platform by way of going to the Teespring store or the shoe store that is located in the comment section below. Minnesota state lawmakers are moving forward with a bill that would establish the nation's first office to investigate cases of missing Black women and girls, as tens of thousands of women of color remain missing in the U.S. On Feb 20, the Minnesota House voted 110-19 in favor of advancing House Bill HF 55, and it is on the fast track this year to be signed into law. Rep. Ruth Richardson, DFL, the bill's author, told Yahoo News, "This is part of the governor's budget and it's one of his top priorities. So we are excited to be at a point where we can finally get this across the finish line." In previous years, similar bills passed in the Minnesota House but failed in the Senate. If the legislation is signed into law, it would require the Bureau of Criminal Apprenticeship to operate a missing person alert program for Black women and girls. The Office of Missing and Murdered Black Women and Girls would review missing persons in cold cases, and the first of its kind project is expected to cost roughly $2.5 million. In the United States, Black women only make up 13% of the female population, but studies found that they make up 35% of missing women in the country. In 2020, during the pandemic, nearly 100,000 of the 250,000 women that went missing in the U.S. were women of color. Brittany Lewis, co-founder of Research and Action, said currently, national statistics tell us that over 60,000 Black women are missing, and Black women are twice as likely than they appear to be victims of homicide. In the state of Minnesota, Black women are 3 times more likely to be murdered than white women in Minnesota, according to the state report completed by Minnesota's Missing and Murdered Black Women and Girls Task Force, created in 2021. Black women are less likely to receive media attention when they go missing. Natalie Wilson, co-founder of the Black and Missing Foundation, a nonprofit organization that brings awareness to missing people of color, said, "What we're finding is that people are disappearing for a number of reasons. Trafficking of our young girls, increase in DV, mental health reasons, and there are a lot of systemic reasons." Wilson says she is working to bridge the gap so that all missing women have the same media attention and resources. We're trying to eliminate this barrier because what we're finding oftentimes with our community's race, zip code, where you live, education, your economic status, all of these things are barriers. In 2016, when 21-year-old Keisha Jacobs went missing in Richmond, her mother said she faced barriers that made her feel like she was the only one searching for her child. "Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one fighting here," Tony Jacobs, Keisha's mother, said. "When I went to go file the police report that she was missing, it felt like the police officer didn't believe me. People, she had a boyfriend. She just ran out. She was pregnant and she was scared to tell me. I mean, these are the first things that come to my mind, and I'm like, this is not fair." According to experts, cases that involve missing Black women and girls stay open 4 times as long compared to other cases involving white people. Jacobs said people are taking them because they know they're not getting attention. "I shouldn't have to wait 6 years, and I honestly believe I'm fighting by myself to bring my daughter home." In 2014, 8-year-old Relisha Rudd went missing in Washington, D.C. and still has not been found. Dr. Verna Price, founder of Girls Taking Action, a nonprofit organization in Minnesota that mentors young girls, said if a white girl with blonde hair and blue eyes goes missing, every light comes on. When a Black girl or Black woman goes missing, you never hear about it. Experts say this is known as missing white woman syndrome, a term that refers to the unequal amount of coverage that white women receive compared to women of color. In 2021, MSNBC host Joy Reid called the coverage of Gabby Petito a prime example of missing white woman syndrome. Why not the same media attention when people of color go missing? According to Lynette Graybull, founder of Not Our Native Daughters, white people were more likely to have an article written while they were still missing. Price says this is not just a problem in Minnesota, as Black women and girls have been targeted nationwide. In this country, Black women since slavery have been dispensable, and it is high time that we protect us, Price said. Richardson and supporters of the legislation said they are hopeful that the bill will pass and spur other states to take action on the issue. We believe that this is a blueprint for a national response. Richardson said, "We are hoping that we can help to lead the way to ensure that Black women and girls are extended the same protection and the same support and the same energy that we see in coverage of other cases."
You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So this is something I've tried to cover a variety of different ways in order to help people get the point, right? Now, we can more than likely say that the main culprits, the usual suspects that are committing these acts or some of these acts are that of some of the Black males directly in the Black community, right? Who don't necessarily care uh, about the lives, um, about the dignity or respect of the young girls and the Black women directly here. And we've seen certain things in the news play out when these stories get highlighted. Even when the culprit is found, right? Even when they state who the culprit directly is, even when the case is directly solved, the problem is not necessarily solved. And the reason why that problem is not necessarily solved is because you have individuals within the Black community, at least talking about the Black side that is doing this. You have individuals within the Black community who are hiding these individuals, knowing the fact that these individuals are out there committing these crimes. You have some Black men out here harboring these individuals, and you also have Black women who are harboring these individuals. And this is when I've also stated that in general, the Black community does not seem to care about the life of Black people, or to be more specific, the Black community does not seem to care about the life of Black women and young Black girls. If somebody wants to disprove me on that, then they are, free to do so. But from everything that I have been able to witness and see, um, since I've been on this planet, that's just been the case. That's just been the facts. Because if it wasn't, then we would have been had organizations. We wouldn't have to wait for the government. We wouldn't have to wait for the police. We would have come up with our own organization with people who may be retired, let's say FBI, CIA, government officials, police officers, detectives, whatever it is. We would have come up with our own people, right? And specifically for search parties, we would have had, people with prior military experience, people that might be retired, right? We got people all over. But the thing is, do we really want to fix this problem? And it comes to a simple, resounding no. No. The Black community does not want to fix a lot of these issues. And a lot of these issues, the Black community has the power to legitimately actually fix. Because all of this starts at home. The same home that's been torn apart by a variety of topics that we've talked about time and time and time and time and time again. All of this starts directly at home. This could literally be fixed, or at least, a nice sized bandage put on it while, the wound is healing. But it's like Black people don't seem as if they really want to fix these issues. We focus on so many other things, the same things that we've been focusing on for decades. And then we have these same problems also going on for decades as well. And yes, I do know we have people that focus on different things. I've stated this time and time and time again. But how many people are really focused on these issues versus how many are focused on other issues? If I really had to weigh things, again, I would say people are more worried about other issues that are outside of their control versus the issues that are within their control, that they know of friends or family, relatives, co-workers, people within a community. Like I said, those are things that are within your grasp, within your control. You can talk to people, you can meet with people, you can discuss these topics. You can create your own small town um, or community meetings on by using Cisco, Zoom, or whatever else that they got, out here for, team communication. There's a variety of ways to, in a sense, do this and to get this information out and to have these conversations at least on a weekly basis. But even with that, you would have black people coming up with an excuse as to why it is that they can't come to the meetings. It will be excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse. And this is why these problems in the black community stay persistent, because of all of these excuses. Because at the end of the day, black people don't care. And it's a shame, to have to, in a sense, say that, because I wish it would actually be different. I really do. The greater majority of my life, I wished that it would be different. But it's like the moment in time that you go out here and you happen to see interactions, you can probably tell that something might happen, right? Somebody don't like somebody else or whatnot or whatever. Like I said, these are all problems that black people can't fix. Yes, everything has a history, everything has a start, but it also comes to a point in time where you need to start right now on fixing those problems. If you're trying to go through the past, in a sense, and then work from that starting point and then trying to fix it from there, you're playing a game that you're not going to live long enough to actually see fully through. Versus if you at least start right now where the issue is and you're trying to get, headway on that, you can easily do that. It is not an impossible task to do it, or better yet, like I told people before, this is the moment in time that a lot of the adults within the black community need to start talking to their kids about the treatment of themselves and others. Again, this is another way how to get ahead of the situation so that we don't have generation after generation after generation after generation going through and suffering with the exact same thing that previous generations of black men and young black girls have to, in a sense, go through. These problems can all be fixed. And I've stated this time and time and time again. I've stated that if adults actually care about kids, then they would actually do something. Time and time and time again. And look where we are. Look where we are. More missing kids. There's also another aspect of this that people aren't mentioning as well, and that deals with the black market, that deals with the harvesting that goes on there. And it's funny how, in a sense, that gets left out as well as to why it is that these black women, these young black girls, um, are being hunted, because that's basically what it is. And you'll have people out there that will do this due to the fact that they know that legitimately people don't care. It don't matter if you want to go historically or by area, whatever it is. Generally, people don't care. If people don't care, right, about the young black boys and young black men, you know, being, hunted or erased, or however you want to sit up there and put it, do you really think that they're going to care about the women? No, they're not. So again, these are problems that the black community can fix. But the question is, does the black community really want to fix it, or does the black community just want to sit by, watch, stay in silent, and just complain?